Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, the artist behind Bigelow Fine Arts. My adventure into the Enchanted Forest continues, and I am inviting you to come along and join me. I have my map and artifacts with me, and I am coloring my way through the forest to seek the mystery in the castle at the center. If you are up for the adventure, grab your gear and let's begin this journey together. If you missed the first part and want to catch up, I have the playlist linked above and at the end with the rest of this journey. I want to try and get a lot of the little things finished off, as well as make some progress on the magnolia today. I feel like the page is finally tipping towards done. Coming in with my chromium green, I want to go through and get all the ground leaves filled in. I start with the leaves growing in the tree, then make my way around to the rest of the leaves, while also trying to avoid the sunbeams. I'm just putting in several light layers, as I know the leaves will need more than one layer given how lightly I put down my color. So I might as well go over the area at least twice and save myself having to come back in with the same color again. With my base layer in place, I now want to add in my shadows and give the leaves dimension. I use the chrome green, and starting at the base of the leaf, I add in a shadow. I use a circular motion to fill in the bottom of the leaf, and when I feel I have it dark enough, I then feather out the edges of the shadow into the rest of the leaf to blend it in place. For any leaf that overlaps another, I make sure to add in a shadow on the leaf behind it. My basic beginning point for these leaf shadows is to go through and at the very least add in a small shadow at the base of each leaf. The next thing I look for are leaves with lines on one side. Those leaves also get a shadow on the lined side. My final point I look for are overlaps. I put in a shadow on any leaves peeking out from behind another. After those basic points are met, I just give the leaves a look over and see if any just need to have a shadow on one side or the other, or maybe a deeper shadow at the base or along an overlap. I want to work on the magnolia tree today, and that includes the vine wrapping around the base of the tree. I will be working it up the same way I worked up the previous vine, starting with a base layer of the hooker's green on all the leaves. If it feels like the second half of this 2-page spread is going faster, then you'd be right. I feel like the first half took more time because I was feeling out the colors as I went. Despite planning out the colors on the thumbnail in the back, I didn't plan out the small details like the shading and what colors would go with other colors. Some of that I had to figure out as I was coloring, but for some, I knew from past pages which colors would work well together. Say for leaves, for example. As I put down color to each area on the one side, it was easier to just use the same colors for the other side and not have to figure anything out. So now I know which color goes where, and in a way I also know how dark to make it based on how many layers the other side of the spread took. So for that reason, and the fact that I am skipping parts for the sunbeam, means I am making faster progress through the second half. If you've made it this far and have been enjoying coloring with me or just watching, I'd appreciate if you'd give me a like and a subscribe to stay informed of when I post more videos, especially if you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. This vine worked up pretty quickly with the hooker's green, and now I am coming in with the cobalt green to add in the shadows on all the leaves and any undercurls. I add in some permanent green, which I don't think I did on the first vine, but I liked the effect it made on the curling trees in the center of the spread, so I used a little here. Plus, this vine is closer to the light, so maybe the light is bringing out more colors. I blend everything out with more hooker's green to make sure the leaves are dark and the paper is filled in. Now I can finally begin working on the magnolia. I start with the sepia and go through for all the 3-lobed leaves and mark off each petal. I also give the bottom of the V between the petals a little shadow. The sepia does an okay job of breaking up the petals from each other, but I want them to feel like they are part of the page and the tree. So I come in with black and create an outline at the bottom of the petal so the sepia shows just above it as a shadow. This really makes a difference. I zoomed in the view more to try to show this, but it is hard to tell the difference between the sepia and the black. The black does make it look like an inked line, especially since I am using a sharp pencil and pressing a little harder than I normally would. I really hope the paper I put under this sheet protects the other page, or I will have some really interesting grooves to deal with. I might have to double up. This book is an odd size and I wasn't able to use regular printer paper, so I grabbed some sketching paper from a large pad and placed that underneath. One thing I did do with the black was to place the black dividing lines on all the 3-lobed leaves, even the ones in the sunbeam. My logic for this is that the black is to simulate the inking from the book, and so even in the sunbeam it would be visible. Time for some color. I am starting with the magenta at the base of all the buds and at the base of each petal in the open flowers. I am working up the shadows about the same way I do for my leaves. I use a circular motion at the base of the bud or petal until I feel it is dark enough. Then I add a few more light layers further out to blend out the edges. For today, that is all I will be doing on this magnolia. Tomorrow I will finish up all the flowers. Thanks for joining in with me on this adventure through the Enchanted Forest. Let me know below or on social media if you liked this journey. I'd love to know what you think. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, MeWe, and Patreon. Patreon has a short write-up, my palettes, and a list of the timestamps that I've made available for everyone. If you have any questions or page requests, please leave them below or reach out to me on social media. I put a list of chapter breaks in the show notes, as well as a list of equipment I like to use. If you use any of the affiliate links, it really helps me out without costing you a thing. I want to thank you all so much for coming along and joining in with me on this coloring journey. I appreciate all my subscribers and look forward to more of you joining in and coloring along with me. Please like, share, and subscribe to help that happen. Until next time, happy coloring!